You all may be seated. Ms. Anderson,
Yes, Your Honor.
you filed this case before the court.
Yes, ma'am.
So what's going on?
I am a full-time mom, and I also work as well full-time as a hairstylist. And I had one child with this man right here, and he is intentionally not trying to work to avoid paying me child support, and he's not helping with our child.
He's not helping doing anything?
Nothing, ma'am.
He's not giving you any money?
No, ma'am.
Is he paying for lunches?
No, ma'am.
Nothing.
I can barely get him to call and talk to his son.
Is there anything else you want me to know before I move to him?
No, ma'am.
Sir,
Yes, Judge.
is there a reason you're not supporting your child?
Well, from what the attitude that she has today, I'm lost. First off, I do everything that I can for the kids.
Okay, when you say you do everything, she's saying you do not do anything. So what is everything that you're doing?
Well, when she asked me to pick them up, I pick them up.
Okay,
try to keep a
let
job.
me ask a better question. What are you doing financially to provide?
In a packed Texas courtroom, the tension is palpable as the judge calls the case to order. The Hendersons, a family caught in a battle for fairness and justice, stand before the court. The case? Child support. The mother, Miss Anderson, is here seeking justice, desperate to hold the father of her child accountable for his refusal to provide financial support. What begins as a simple courtroom hearing quickly turns into a fierce battle, exposing the lengths some will go to avoid their responsibilities. Miss Anderson, a full-time mom and a dedicated hairstylist, stands before the judge, her voice shaking with frustration. She is fighting not just for money, but for the future of her child. Her claim? The father of her child. This man standing across from her refuses to contribute anything. No child support, no help with basic needs. It's a fight for survival, a fight to ensure that her child has a fair chance in life. And the father? He stands there, uninterested, making excuses as he tries to dodge his responsibilities. The drama unfolds.
Monthly for your groceries to pay for lunch for these kids.
Monthly, I'm looking about maybe $500. I packed lunch.
What? $500? Mm-hmm. And you're making $3?
The judge, with an air of authority, asks Miss Anderson to explain the situation. What follows is a heart-wrenching account of her struggles. She's working tirelessly to raise their child, but without any support from the father. The burden falls solely on her. She has no choice but to scrape by, doing everything she can to ensure her child is fed and clothed. Meanwhile, the father stands there, almost nonchalant, claiming that he does everything he can. But when pressed about his financial contribution, it's clear that his definition of everything is far from what a responsible parent should be doing. Miss Anderson, visibly exhausted, explains that the father has never paid for a single meal for their child. She can barely get him to make a phone call to check on their son. This isn't just about money. It's about a lack of involvement, a complete disregard for the responsibilities that come with fatherhood. The father's deflection. The courtroom is charged with tension as the father is called to explain himself. He starts with excuses, blaming Miss Anderson's attitude for why he's not supporting his child. He claims he does what he can, like picking up their son when asked. But the judge isn't fooled. She demands to know what he's doing financially to help support this child. What he offers is a shocking answer. He's trying to make it as a rapper and is selling CDs for $3 each. When asked how much he earns from this, he stumbles, claiming he makes $60 a day. The judge, now skeptical, breaks down the math for him, and the reality is clear. $60 a day isn't nearly enough to support a child, let alone cover the basics like food, let alone rent or healthcare. The father tries to shift the conversation. Again, but the judge is having none of it. The post office job. It's revealed that the father once had a job at the post office where he worked for only 2 months. His reason for quitting? As soon as child support deductions were made, he decided he couldn't handle it anymore. This is the moment when the judge sees through the father's charade. His actions are intentional. He is purposefully avoiding his financial obligations to the child. The judge doesn't let up, pressing him further. What are you doing to provide for your child? The father offers nothing but more excuses. It's a moment that feels like a turning point in the courtroom. There's no denying it anymore. This man is refusing to take responsibility. The harsh reality of responsibility. As the case moves forward, the judge begins to address the larger issue at hand. Child support isn't optional. It's a legal obligation. The reality of raising a child is harsh. Miss Anderson spends $500 a month on groceries alone to provide for their child. But the father, who claims to be doing everything he can barely scrape together $60 a day. The judge starts breaking down the numbers, and suddenly the father's excuses look even more ridiculous. The reality sets in for everyone in the room. Raising a child isn't just about picking them up from school or playing with them on weekends. It's about providing for their basic needs, their future, their security. The father's attitude, his refusal to work, and his avoidance of financial responsibility are starting to look even more irresponsible. The three-door CD business and financial irresponsibility. The courtroom erupts in disbelief as the father defends his CD-selling business, trying to justify it as a way to support his child, but the judge isn't having it. You're making $3 a suri. Pop, and you're expecting that to support your child? She asks. She breaks down the math for him again, explaining that $60 a day is far from enough to provide for the basic necessities of life. The father is caught in his own web of excuses. And then, the judge delivers a devastating blow to his defense. What you're doing isn't working, it's not enough, and it's not fair to your child. The truth stings, and for a moment, the father is speechless. The 2-3 monthly obligation. The judge, unwilling to let the father off the hook, delivers the verdict. She orders him to pay child support based on minimum wage, which is $7.25 per hour in Texas. This, the judge explains, is not just about money. It's about responsibility. The father's child support obligation is set at $203 a month. It's not a huge amount, but it's something. It's a start. And it's a clear message that the father must now step up. The father tries to argue, but the judge is firm. He's been given a fair chance, and he's failed to live up to his responsibilities. Now, the law will step in. The father is ordered to pay child support, and it will be deducted from his income no matter how much he resists. Health insurance. But that's not all. The case doesn't end there. Miss Anderson reveals another critical issue. Their child doesn't have health insurance because the father has not provided it. This is a major concern, as children need health coverage, and the law requires both parents to contribute to it. The judge explains that while Miss Anderson can go ahead and secure insurance for their child, the father is legally responsible for reimbursing her for the cost of the coverage. The father, still trying to avoid responsibility, asks questions, but the judge's response is clear. You are going to reimburse her. No more excuses. Final decision. As the case comes to a close, the judge delivers a final statement. You are not above the law. Your child deserves better than this. You have a responsibility, and now you will meet it. The father, now realizing the gravity of the situation, finally agrees to the terms. He will pay child support. He will reimburse for health insurance. The judge makes it clear that this is his final chance to do what's right for his child. As the gavel strikes, the courtroom empties, and the case is over. But for Miss Anderson, the fight is far from done. While the judge's decision is a victory, it's only a small step in the long road of ensuring that her child receives the care, love, and support they deserve.